Through teaching Photoshop, one of the things that I've discovered is that the shadow highlights command is often underused. So here with this image, we're going to take a look at another example of how we can use shadow and highlights in order to improve the overall light in this photograph. This is a photograph of a professional mountain biker, and again, because it's backlit, because there's no on-camera flash or no light, it's underexposed. So what I want to do is bring out some of the brightness of the rider. In order to do that, we're going to copy this background layer. Let's go ahead and press Command or Control J. Next, we'll name this new layer Light. From here, we'll navigate to the Image pull-down menu, choose Adjustments, and then Shadows and Highlights. In this dialog, we want to bring up some of the brightness value of our shadows. So we'll go ahead and work on those shadows, and we really want to crank these up. So we're going to go too far with this because we're going to use masking in order to make some corrections to get this just right. So I'm increasing these sliders just till I see something I think is a bit too far, a bit over the top. All right, with my highlights, I can also work on those if I want to bring those down a bit. The radius is really interesting. If I increase this dramatically, you're going to see how this radius will control how close this is getting to these other tones here, what the glow is. So in this case, we'll go ahead and bring that down. You want to find that radius just so you have a nice soft transition along that highlight. All right, well here we have it, before and then after. That's looking good. I'm going to go even a little bit stronger here and then click OK. Well, at this juncture, the image is looking interesting but overdone. And I wanted to overdo this to illustrate how you can use masking to make this even better. What we're going to do is add a mask. To add this mask, we'll hold down Option or Alt, and we'll click on the Add Layer Mask icon. That will create a mask which is filled with black. Next, we'll grab our brush tool. Here we're going to paint with white, probably about 40% or so. And we're going to make our brush huge, I mean gigantic. So I'm going to press the right bracket key. And I'm just going to paint over the entirety of the photograph. So now here I have the entire image affected at this 40% amount. Here's my before and then after. Next thing I'm going to do is press the left bracket key to make my brush smaller. And then I'm going to ratchet up my opacity, especially for the face here. And I'm going to paint in a little bit more on this area. So I'm just going to bring more light there on the hands, on the arm, on the legs. I want more light. Sponsor, we need to brighten up their little logos there as well. So go ahead and brighten those up around the wheels. And so what I'm doing is I'm hand painting in this brightness in the particular areas. So rather than having the effect at 100% all over the image, I'm just going to bring it in a couple of different places by hand painting on this mask. And this is going to give me a really nice look here because I can then control the brightness value. Here we have before and then after. If we shift click the mask, you can see before and after with and without the mask, and you can see how we're controlling this a little bit more closely. Next step, increase the feather amount, soften those edges, and then lower the opacity. We want to lower the opacity till we find just the right spot of adding a touch of light. And the nice thing about this again is that we have this incremental light where certain areas it's not quite so strong, other areas we're really boosting things up in order to bring in some light into the photograph. All right, well here's that before and then here's the after, bringing a little bit more light into the subject, and I think even at a higher opacity here would be kind of nice, maybe something right around there. All right, here we have it before and then after, a really easy and effective way to make corrections to your photographs using shadow and highlights.